Hello, hello, hello there. Welcome back to Grandma Ray Don't Play, and I'm Rachel. So guys, it's time for us to get real. I mean, really get real. So, during the epidemic, the governors in many states put a hold, a freeze on any evictions, any eviction paperwork being served. The courts wasn't open and they wasn't receiving any eviction paperwork, and so you had a grace period. So here we are 3 months into this, and several states, the governors have lifted their ban, or they came up with a new ban, or they kept the same ban. So you have to check with your state to see what your governor is saying about evictions. Is he allowing evictions? Is he allowing foreclosures? Look and see, because at this crucial point, it's really time for us to get real. It's about, today is I think the 9th of June, and so the last day of July is the last day that we know currently that you'll be getting that additional $600 stimulus check. And maybe some of you already went back to work, but you're still far behind. You still owe rent and other bills. Okay, so let's talk about that, because I wanted to come on and talk to you about this now, so that you can kind of get yourself together and see what you can do to save your house, save your apartment, and so that you don't go crazy in, let's say, 6 weeks when you get some paperwork stating that you're being evicted. Now that, on top of this 3-month epidemic, will take you over the edge, I'm sure. Okay, so let's talk about that, okay? In the mortgage companies during the epidemic could offer forbearance, okay, if you ask for it. A forbearance is where they put your payment at the end of the loan, okay, or you have to pay it back at some point in time. All right, so let's talk about things that you can do now to help yourself. So the question is, what can you do if you owe back rent? What could you do? Let's don't wait until the paperwork get to your door to figure this out. We're going to do that now, okay? And I hope that I can help you in some sort of way. So in reference to those who are paying rent, talk to your landlord. Hopefully, you you have a nice dialogue with the landlord so that he or she would be willing to work with you. Don't go off, don't scream and yell and get all emotional, because your support system from our governor is almost gone, all gone. Okay, so now it's not time for you to get ignorant with the landlord. It's time for you to talk to the landlord to see how you can save your place, okay? Or negotiate. If you already paid your rent, maybe you can negotiate your rent. Maybe your rent you feel is too high, and now you see, due to the epidemic, that money could get cut off at any time, because they say that the infection that's going on nationwide is rising back up. So this all could happen again. We don't know. Or you could get the epidemic. We don't know. Okay, so now it's time to negotiate so that you can make wise choices. Maybe where you're staying at is not the place for you to be. Maybe you need to move to cheaper residence. Okay, all right. So things that you can do besides talking to your landlord, you can go to your community outreach programs and see who is helping people, who has financial help to help you stay in your apartment, okay? So check into that now so that you'll know your options, okay? If you have any social service involvement, that's like DSS, okay, talk to them. They also have money and they have funds to help the families that they are counseling right now. So check with them, okay? Maybe you have enough money and you could say, okay, if I pay with the money that I have, I'm still not going to be able to afford this apartment. Maybe I need to take this money that I have and move to a cheaper place so that I can survive, because the job you left, it may not be there anymore, and so you may have to adjust accordingly. So before you give up your last money, think about all of this, okay, so that you can make a wise choice. If moving is on the table for you, maybe you have to move, okay, because the answer is to survive the long run, not the short run. And now we know you cannot live up to 100% of your income potential, because anything can happen. We have learned that now. Okay, let me go on. Talk to your church. See if your church has any assistance for you, any help. You know, maybe if you're looking for a cheaper place, they can allow a posting to get put up on their channel or on their Facebook or whatever they have, and maybe someone out there have a place that's cheaper for you and your family, okay? Or maybe they have some funds that they can help you with. Do your outreach, okay? All right, so another option is to come up with a payment plan for your current landlord. Come up with a payment plan. So let me give you an example of a payment plan. You're gonna sit down with a pencil and paper and really write down all your bills that you have to pay out. Rent first, okay, and see how much, in addition to the regular current rent, that you can pay the landlord towards the back rent owed, okay? And then when you have that written out plan and you play that in your head for maybe 2 days and you feel confident that you can do that, then I would definitely call the landlord and see if you can come up with some kind of agreement for that. Now if you do come up with an agreement, please get the agreement in writing. I'm going to tell you why that's important. It's nice that the man or the lady landlord may agree to do that verbally, but what happens if they decide later on that, oh, you know what, this is taking too long, I don't want to do this, and then they want to haul you into court? At least if you have your agreement in writing, you can show the court that this is an agreement that you all made, he signed or she signed, and this is the plan that you was working on. And I'm sure once you show that agreement, that no court is gonna go against that agreement, because this is something that they agreed to. And the only way that that wouldn't work is if you reneged and you didn't pay it, okay? All right. Find out, if you have no other options, what is the option of going in a shelter. You know, go down to, I don't know what office you would go to in your state, but if you just Google shelters in your state and in your town, it will come up with the closest shelters next to you, and then you can find out where you go to apply for that. And I would call them and just question them to see, what are the qualifications, what do you need? Do you need an eviction notice from your landlord? Do you need a motion to quit from your landlord? What exactly do you need in order to qualify to go into the shelter? Okay, now that's something that you might want to consider. Okay, the next thing is find out the cost of storage. So if you had to put your stuff in storage, find out what that cost is. And I want you to start saving aside that cost, because you want to at least have 3 months up front of the storage costs, so that you can be assured until you figure things out that your stuff is going to be okay, and that you'll be able to keep your furniture and your items in storage until such time. Okay, so call around to different storage places. You have time now to see which ones is the best one for you. Some are climate control and some not. So the ones that's climate control, you know, your stuff is not like out in the it's heated in there, or maybe air conditioned in there, and so it protects your stuff a little more. Okay, so those would be some options that you would want to look into. Okay, start selling items you own that you can get cash for. You know, because now is not the time to keep these items. If you can sell them on, I don't know, wherever you sell them, on eBay, or I'm sure they got places that you can take a picture and you can put it online and sell it, and see if you can raise some cash that way. Because right now, whatever you have is not worth more than a roof over your head. Okay, so look around your house. I'm sure you have plenty of stuff in the house, and start listing that stuff, taking pictures and selling it. Okay, offer the landlord, if you can work for them to offset some rent. You know, maybe he needs landscaping done, or maybe he needs apartments cleaned out or painted, something like that. See if you can make some kind of deal with your landlord. Okay? Okay. Get a second job. That's really, really important now, because you've got about, I would say, maybe 6 weeks to play with here. So get a second job if you can. I know it's hard to get the first one, but see if you can get a second job. And if you can get a second job, start working that, so that you can then come up with your financial plan and know for a fact that you can pay this extra money per week to catch up on your rent. Okay? Maybe you can sell dinners or babysit. I don't know. Be creative and come up with some ideas and things that you can do to raise some money. Okay? Very, very important. Maybe you can move in with some family. Now, be mentally prepared for that, because you know that is not an easy task. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because, you know, it's not your roof, and you and your family have habits that they may not have. So be willing to compromise, bite your tongue, and go in there and do what you got to do till you can get out of there. Okay? So that's another option. Alright? Cut out all unnecessary expenses. All. Like cable. I know you're saying, oh, my kids have to have cable. They got to watch cable. No, well, I have some solutions for the free stuff for that. And that'll be on another video that I'm going to be putting out soon. Okay? It's going to be Cut the Cord Part 2. So just look out for that. Okay? And you can definitely cut that bill out. Okay? You do need the internet. So if you can cut down on the cable part and just keep the internet, that would work. Okay? You don't have to eat out. You don't have to buy new clothes. I know you're going to say, well, yeah, you know, my kids need new clothes. You know, the shirts is tight on them and all of that. That's okay. Let them wear the tight shirts, because right now what you need is a roof over your kid's head more than anything. And the town you live in, it may be more expensive than other cheaper towns. Maybe you have to consider moving completely out of that town to another town, okay? Alright, so let me give you an example of a budget that you could come up with that you can present to your landlord that might help you stay in your apartment, okay? Alright, so let's say that you owe a total of $3,000 back rent. You owe $3,000 back rent. Well, unemployment, that extra 600 stimulus part, runs out the last day of July. So this is June 9th. Okay, so you have about 6 weeks. So within the 6 weeks, you should be able to save at least $1,500 to have in hand to present to your landlord. Okay, so if your back example is that you owe $3,000, you have $1,500 in hand. You want to say, okay, I have $1,500. Can I pay you $100 a week extra until I catch up? I think he might go for something like that. You know, whatever arrangement, he may say, well, you know, I can do $125 a week. You know, work with him, okay? And I think that would work, because, you know, if you go to court, he takes you to court, it's not necessarily that the judge is going to put you out. The judge may give you even longer time to pay him back. So it's better for him to get an agreement like that than to chance it and go to court and might get nothing. You might be in there for many months with nothing. Who knows? I know one thing. I doubt seriously if a judge is going to instantly put a bunch of people out on the street. So I think the landlord would work with you. But if you don't have nothing in hand, like that $1,500 down, then yes, he's not going to have faith that you're trying to do something. So see if you can make an agreement like that, okay, and sustain yourself. I'm going to make another video on those who own a house and how you can get out the crunch so that you don't lose your property. Okay? Okay, so thanks for listening, and I hope this advice helps you if you're behind in your rent, because we're coming up to scary times, and I don't want you to panic without some resources to look back on. When you get nervous, play back this video and follow these instructions, and I think you're going to do well. Oh, the last thing I want to advise you on, and oh, please do this. Any back child support owed to you, pursue that, because now you're going to need all the money you can get to pay this extra money a month. Okay? Alright, because the other parent may be working, may have income. Okay? So give that a shot, okay? And remember, Grandma loves you, Grandma Ray loves you, and I'm thinking hard over here for you, okay? Alright, I'm going to talk to you soon, okay? Give it a thumbs up, share the video, subscribe if this is your first time on my channel, and check out my links. I have a GoFundMe and a Patreon that you may be interested in participating in. So until next time, be blessed. Bye.